Early on. We opened Wall Stadium for autocross. Mike Gilden in his MGTD. Mike was stationed at Fort Monmouth at the time. I believe he was a lieutenant. He was a new member of the club at this time, and a really nice guy. I'll tell you later how nice a guy he was. Anyway, we started autocrossing at Wall Stadium. I don't know who this is. He won't show me a face. This is a guy I can't remember. Okay. He wouldn't turn his head so I could see who he was. That last was Mike Gilden finishing his run. I haven't been able to identify the car or the driver. For that I apologize. But hey, that's what happens when you get cheap help. However, he got his time on the course and he's got his time on camera. And even if he does come off as the unknown driver, well, it's okay. Maybe somebody somewhere will pick him up. I don't know who this lady is. She sat there in the car all day recording times and just having a grand old time. Let's see now. This is Hank Jeter. We used to call that the Horlacker Special because he always had a case of Horlacker in the trunk. Now this is Vern Bennett in his XK140 Jaguar. And this will give you an idea of the type of spirit drivers had back then. This was a very expensive automobile. This was a relatively rare automobile at the time. And Vern is down there belting it through the woods just as if he knew what he was doing. And he had a grand time doing it. This is a typical thing, an example of the cooperation between the clubs. This is Don LaFountain. Don was a heel and toe member. It's an MGA Roadster. It's black with a white stripe down the middle, and they used to call it the Skunk. Don's wife, Susie, ran a Bug-Eye Sprite, a black Bug-Eye with a white stripe down the hood, and they called that the Little Skunk. But as I was saying, this is typical of the cooperation between the clubs. All the heel and toe guys turned to help. When they weren't running, they were helping, and it was really an outstanding thing. Hey, I go that way. Sure, don't hit me. There's Vern doing his Indian dance again. I don't know who this is. It's apparently a Volvo PV44, an elderly version of the Volvo clan. But I have no idea who the driver is. Unfortunately, he too is going to go into the great unnamed. This is Helmut Kern. Helmut was a member of the Wing and Bonnet. We called him Crash for obvious reasons. Vern Bennett is still dancing there. We ought to get some music behind Vern. Helmut was, he and his VW were, oh, here we go, wait a minute. Sam Molina, our mad Italian driver. Keep your eyes on this one. He's driving Mike Gilden's TD. And here we go. Kaboom. Did you see that? This is the penalty for going off course in this autocross. Fortunately, we were able to get the thing semi-straightened out so that Mike could drive it home. I'd like to tell you Sam Molina's version of the story, but I don't dare. It involves too much profanity. This is the pits. Pits were really the pits. Notice the organization. Everybody's parked in a nice clean row of cars, and everybody just wanted to get close to get warm is what it was. I think we're winding down here at this point, getting ready to close things out. Everybody had their 2 runs. I think we had something like 20 cars, 25 cars ran that day. I'm not sure, but I know I got a chance to run, but nobody took my picture. Never mind sympathy cries back there. We're about to be cleaning up, I think. This airport was a great sight. The guy that ran it, Danny Shargus, he loved having us come down there. Didn't charge us a heck of a lot. And of course, a lot simpler in those days too. We didn't need permits. We didn't need anything. I haven't figured out who this is. Not at all sure. Barbara couldn't even figure it out. Later on, we get a couple of familiar faces. If you'll keep your eye on the background, you'll see a red MG. There it is. That's my MG Type Y Tourer. About 1,000 of them were made in 3 years of production. I was lucky I had one of the left-hand drive models. I can't see that one either. But this was the typical of the type of thing Wing and Bonnet did. We had generally probably 8 rallies a year and 4 or 5 autocrosses, either here at Fork and River. That's Bob Massey. Bob was a young guy I brought into the club. I ran into him at a boatyard, and we called him Miles because Bob put on more miles in the first 2 rallies he ran than the committee did in checking them out, laying them out, and everything else. And there's Handsome Harry Brand again. If you see a cigar sticking out of the front of that crash helmet, it's Sam Bennett. Sam read somewhere that Barney Oldfield always ran with a cigar in his face, and Sam thought he was Barney Oldfield. Sam was the guy that got me into the club. He got me involved. Okay, a little pit work here. I think we're trying to get Mike squared away. And that's about all there is. We had a great time. The club back then was quite large. We probably at that time had 25 or 30 members. Everybody worked. Everybody turned out for the events. And we just had a great time. Some of the best people I know came out of this club. And it continues that way into this day. Our thanks to Walt Morris for the technical expertise involved in putting this thing together.